Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is Alan, and today we're going to be continuing our Most Heroic Human Soldier series by looking at the rank of Captain. The word itself inspires an image of leadership and power. Whether it be the captain of an infantry company or a ship, they are given the responsibility of dozens if not hundreds of men, but at the same time, their command is never too large that things become impersonal. And for the most part, captains are stationed close enough to the front lines to expect to see some combat. While my love for humanity spans across the entire globe to each and every one of you people out there, there are very few individuals I respect more than Captain Stephen Hiller, a F-18 pilot for the U.S. Marine Corps Black Knight Squadron stationed out of El Toro Air Base in Irvine, California. When the aliens invaded during the War of 1996, Captain Hiller became one of the first humans to engage the aliens in aerial combat. Hiller's squad quickly found themselves in a defensive position when their conventional weapons were unable to pierce the shields of the alien craft. After seeing his entire squadron taken out, Captain Hiller gets creative and launches his chute into the path of an alien craft, bringing it down. The events that followed will forever immortalize Captain Stephen Hiller as a true representative of the human spirit and what makes our race so unstoppable and good. Upon reaching the downed alien craft, Stephen Hiller becomes the first human to encounter an alien face-to-face.
Welcome to Earth.
And proceeds to punch it in the face. Following his first encounter situation, Captain Stephen Hiller alongside civilian David Levinson would pilot an alien ship into the alien mothership, setting off a virus to disable the shields of their entire fleet. The brave actions of these two men would turn the tables against the evil aliens, and more importantly, the actions of these two individuals would make July 4th, American Independence Day, an international holiday. America. It's one thing to fight in a well-oiled human military fighting machine. It takes a whole other type of individuals to command a resistance military unit made up of civilians. Captain Daniel Weaver, an Army veteran of the Gulf War, took command of the 2nd Mass Militia Regiment, a part of a wider human resistance against the alien invasion in Falling Skies. Captain Weaver faced a situation very similar to the ones faced by the commanders of the Continental Army during the American Revolution. He had civilian volunteers who had problems with discipline and following orders and could more or less leave whenever they wanted to. Weaver, as a military man, had to think outside the box and give many concessions to his soldiers in order to make things run smoothly. His second-in-command, Tom Mason, was a civilian officer and former teacher, cut of the same cloth as Civil War Commander Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain of the 20th Maine, and hero of Little Round Top. Tom Mason naturally clashed with the more military-minded Captain Weaver, but to both men's credit, they were able to work together and find a middle ground, which allowed the 2nd Mass to not only survive, but thrive in enemy territory. Captain Spurgeon Tanner was a part of a last-ditch human mission on the Messiah spacecraft to stop a 7-mile-long comet from crashing into Earth. During the crew's first attempt to destroy the comet by using nuclear weapons, the comet was split into 2 chunks which still were both heading towards Earth. What made matters worse was the commander of the mission had been blinded while on the surface of the comet. The crew is at the lowest of lows by this point. Their mission had failed, and the 2nd chunk of the comet was still 6 miles long, enough to wipe out all life on Earth and block out the sun for as long as 2 years with dust and debris. Captain Spurgeon Tanner brings up a second option. The Messiah still had several nuclear weapons on board, and although it was too damaged to actually land on one of the comets, it still could fly directly into one and hopefully disintegrate it. The crew unanimously agreed to this suicide mission and in turn saved the planet. Sure, the smaller comet still hits and generates a massive tsunami and takes out the East Coast, but at least it doesn't mean the world will be dark for 2 years, giving the vampires a significant advantage. Captain Tanner was a veteran NASA pilot, and even though he didn't carry a gun or fight aliens with his bare hands, he fought an extraterrestrial threat that was equally as dangerous and prevailed.
And how could we talk about the rank of captain without talking about some of the captains in the Star Trek universe? And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I am British Ben and I am here to talk to you about Star Trek. So, Captain Kirk was about as heroic as they get. But sadly, he changed his career later in life. He's now selling medical accessories for senior citizens.
Right, Barb?
So let's go with Captain Picard. At least he is still working, even if he is a full-time grape farmer and just doing the space stuff on the side, but whatever. Throughout his career, Captain Picard always inspired loyalty in his crew with his superior moral standard. This loyalty enabled Picard to take his crew on dangerous missions, even missions that violated Starfleet orders, because his crew believed in Picard's superior judgment.
Any of you who wish to object should do so now. It will be noted in my log.
Captain, I believe I speak for everyone here, sir, when I say, to hell with our orders.
Picard saved Earth from the Borg on 2 separate occasions, defeated his evil clone, who was also trying to destroy Earth, and even survived Cardassian interrogation. And yet still found time to recite the complete works of Shakespeare.
In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see, but 'tis my heart.
Learn the flute in order to woo female officers.
You're better than you think.
And managed to find slots in his busy schedule to be mean to little kids.
I thought that last year the teachers had agreed that they wouldn't do this anymore.
Captain Picard Day is one of the children's favorite school activities. They look forward to it all year.
Can we see the battle bridge?
No, I'm afraid not. What the hell? Children are not allowed on the bridge.
What a capable guy, and he'll surely go down in history as one of the greatest captains that ever lived.
If our planet's fate was to be determined in an intergalactic gladiator fight showcasing our best warriors, we'd most likely send a Gurkha and a Samoan to do our fighting for us. Captain Mifune, who clearly is of Samoan descent, is the head of Zion's APU unit. Not only is he a great orator who helps his men become better fighters by reminding them that death is most likely going to come to them, whether you think about it or not, he's also a one-man killing machine and one of the most talented APU pilots out there. Captain Mifune's last mission is ultimately a suicide mission, similar to Faramir's last charge against the Orcs at Minas Tirith or Ender Wiggins' plunge into the heart of the Formic planet. There was no way Mifune's APUs, who numbered in the dozens, could stand against a Sentinel horde numbering in the thousands if not millions. Sitting in what essentially is a giant exposed power letter, Mifune's APU core is quickly ripped apart by the machines, and soon the Samoan warrior finds himself standing alone in the docks of Zion and attracts the attention of almost every Sentinel in the area. As his body is being ripped apart by 1,000-centimeter deep cuts, Mifune does not stop screaming or firing his dual machine guns, and although he ultimately dies, it doesn't expire until he gives one last command to the kid. Someone needs to open up the dock door so that the hammer can make it to Zion and fire off an EMP, buying humanity a few more hours to live. What a hero. While I have a soft spot in my heart for all clones in the GAR, Captain Rex is someone I have always looked up to as the ideal image of what the perfect soldier is supposed to be. Without a family in former life, it was easier for clones to take up soldiering. Well, they were more or less forced into the job, actually, but Captain Rex stands out because of his steadfast loyalty to the cause, despite being exposed to all the different things he was missing out on. It might have been due to his assignment to the 501st Legion, which was led by the unorthodox Anakin Skywalker, but Captain Rex was involved in more large battles and also special forces missions than perhaps any clone in the GAR. And though he never was the most talented or skilled fighter, especially when compared to a Jedi, he was always able to hold his own and keep up. Captain Rex, despite being super loyal and obedient, always had a solid head on his shoulders. He was one of the few clones to find out about the inhibitor chips in their brains and was able to escape Order 66. Years before the Battle of Yavin, Captain Rex would once again volunteer to fight for the greater good of the galaxy when he joined Phoenix Squadron and the Rebel Alliance. Like millions of Americans, the sight of Pearl Harbor being bombed into submission and the rise of the madman Hitler drove Stephen Rogers to enlist in the United States Army. Mr. Rogers was a small man with a variety of health issues, but that never stopped him from doing anything in his life, whether he was standing up to bullies many times larger than him or just trying to do his part. Rogers was an unstoppable little man. However, he failed to enlist in the U.S. Army due to his medical records and even tried to doctor his medical records several times in order to pass inspection. His tenacity finally caught the attention of the Strategic Scientific Reserve. They were looking for some candidates for their Project Rebirth, which created super soldiers that were supposed to fight the Nazis. Although Rogers was clearly the weakest candidate in the pool of soldiers selected, he showed time and time again that he had the biggest heart and the clearest moral compass, which proved to be very important for the scientists in charge of the program. After all, they were giving superpowers to a normal human being, and if that human being does not have the right mindset or moral compass, they could very quickly turn into a very powerful supervillain. Stephen Rogers would prove the scientists right and become one of the most selfless and heroic soldiers on Earth. During World War II, he helped save several Allied POWs kept in a Hydra research lab, and he also saved New York City from complete annihilation by diverting a hydroplane full of nuclear weapons into the Arctic Ocean. And even after being frozen underwater for 7 decades, the moment he wakes up, Stephen Rogers, Captain America, begins fighting again for humanity. Captain Nemo's name means no one in Latin, which is fitting because not much is really known about the mysterious man, other than the fact that his father was a Raja. The captain was an adventurer and scientific genius who explored the depths of the ocean at a time when man was still harnessing the power of steam engines. Captain Nemo built and piloted one of the most advanced submarines ever built, called the Nautilus. A masterpiece containing masterpieces, the submarine was ahead of its time. Fitted with a double hull and sodium-mercury batteries, the Nautilus was a force to be reckoned with. Now, by modern terms, Captain Nemo was very much what you would call a sovereign citizen. He hated authoritative governments and oppression and went as far as to make sure that his entire submarine and lifestyle was only supplemented by things found in the ocean. He also occasionally attacked warships from one of the many land-based nations on Earth. Some might call him a man before his time, a hero, scientist, and revolutionary. Others would simply describe him as a pirate. Captain Levi Ackerman might look like an emo kid, but I assure you, if you understood just how hard it was to kill a Titan with some vertical maneuvering equipment, you would be in awe by how many Titan kills Captain Levi has acquired. 89. Now, Captain Levi doesn't really fit your image of what a conventional captain or officer would be like. He was born on the streets, son of a prostitute, and raised by his serial killer uncle. Levi became a notorious thug before joining the Survey Corps, and although he was quite a reserved individual and a man of few words, he quickly propelled through the ranks and found himself in a leadership position. As a squad leader and then a captain, Levi led by example and skill and inspired his men to be the best version of themselves. For young soldiers coming up in the Survey Corps, Captain Levi was a legend and considered the strongest soldier of humanity. So there you have it, guys. Those are some of the most impressive and heroic humans to hold the rank of captain in our history. Let me know in the poll up in the right corner which one is your favorite. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on the rest of this series. As usual, my name is Alan, reminding you that life is a movie and you are the protagonist.